What's cooking? Welcome to another exciting episode of What's Cooking right here on Citi TV. My name is Apiorkor, and I must give a special greeting, Afi, Minyanye, because it's Homowo season. And today we're going to be cooking some kpokpoi and everything that goes with it. So I'm in the home of Naa Ofeibea. And when we come back from the break, we'll see what all this means and how we do it in Ghanland. My name is Apiorkor once again. You're welcome. Welcome back. This is still What's Cooking on Citi TV. Once again, my name is Apiorkor, and we're celebrating Homowo. Now, if you know the history of Homowo, if you remember what you learned in social studies or in history class, they say Homowo means hooting at hunger. Others say Homowo means literally hunger should sleep. So depending on what you learned, either way, hunger has no place when Homowo comes around, and there's a history to it, and that history, of course, has a lot to do with food. So Auntie Naa, you're very welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us in your home.
You're welcome.
Great. So Auntie, I know that when we are cooking Homowo, of course, kpokpoi is a big deal. Our palm nut soup,
Mewonu.
Yes,
Palm soup.
Palm soup, and all the things that go with it. But it's also a very communal meal.
It is.
The way we prepare it, and then the way we even sit down to eat it.
Yes. Homowo preparation takes a few days. So we start with a corn, cleaning of the corn, soaking of the corn overnight, and milling the corn. And then on the day off, we pound the palm nuts. We cook it and pound it. Prior to that, we also get the fish and smoke it 2 or 3 days before. So we actually need about 4 days preparation for Homowo.
So it's a whole process,
It
doesn't take one day.
No, the corn has to be fresh, has to be sweet.
Okay.
And there's a specific fish too that we use. We have to use the herring, mang. Mang. Oda is a type of tuna, but still haven't found out the type of tuna it is. And then grouper. And
so grouper is what we call.
Grouper is what we call shoin. And then oda, which is the big red fish. And
that's a chile.
The
big red fish.
So then we have it smoked with the wood we use for smoking it is also special. It's called Osha.
Okay, so Auntie Ofeibea, I want us to start the cooking because I know it also takes time even on the day. So over to you.
So right now we are going to start with the kpokpoi and the soup at the same time.
Okay.
One of them is going to be start cooking the soup, and one will start the kpokpoi.
Okay,
okay,
so she's pouring
the palm nuts.
So this has been pounded.
Pounded and strained.
Strained,
yes,
everything.
Pounded and strained.
Okay.
Now this is the water that she's going to use to make the kpokpoi.
So this is a dadiseng.
This is dadiseng.
So
dadiseng. I don't know if it has an English name.
Well, generally we say cauldron.
Okay.
Any round bottomed pots in English is cauldron. Of course, our culture is a little more specific in the terms. So
yeah. This is the steamer.
Intasu.
The language is dynamic, as you know. So
right now what they're going to do is pick the chaff from the maize, from the corn. you need to separate it, right?
Yes.
Just clean it up nicely before we use it.
So this is the corn. You have to press it down tight. So
What's
that
the reason for that?
so that you don't get air into it.
Okay.
It's the air which will make it tart.
Okay.
So now she'll bring a spoon to scrape the top.
The top, the part
scraping
that has become dry and a bit hard.
Yes, the part that she puts a little water on top to help the process of pressing it down.
Okay. So she's right now adding the ashes.
Yes.
From the fire.
From the fire.
Okay. So we're using coal, we're using firewood. So she's adding the ashes to what she has scraped from the top of the corn. So Auntie Ofeibea, why are we using this? So it's become like clay, like a paste.
Yes.
So why are we using it to seal the space in between the dadinseng and
so that the heat will be directed to the
so
steamer
shouldn't come
only.
out.
Shouldn't come out.
So, and there should be no escape
Of the steam.
Okay.
Because the kpokpoi is cooked with steam only.
So that the steam can't get out. And then of course it's a steamer, so there are holes inside and the steam will have no choice but to pass through them. So Auntie Naa,
Yes.
now I see that you are working with dried shrimps.
Yes.
Song.
Yes.
Yes.
So we are going to use that to season the palm oil that we will use to color the kpokpoi.
Okay, so the palm oil that we use to color the kpokpoi, that gives the kpokpoi its
Some
yellowish
flavor. Yes.
That makes it look almost like gari photo.
Yes.
Right? It's not plain palm oil.
When Homowo season comes around, the matriarch will inform the family members that Homowo is approaching. So we shall celebrate it on this particular day. All family members who are members of this family should get ready with their money and whatever they will bring in kind for that day. And then when they bring her the money, she sends the people to the market to buy the things that we need to prepare the food.
So the role of this motherly figure, this matriarch, is not just about the kitchen. It's also a social role, making sure that the family stays together.
Yes.
And if you don't see each other for the whole year, at least during Homowo,
Right.
we come together as a family, quash our differences, eat together.
Yes.
And then also make sure that our traditions and our culture are preserved. Okay, so this is blended
onion.
So it's also blended, very smooth. Okay, so right now we are waiting for our seasoned, or are preparing our seasoned palm oil for the kpokpoi. And then our water is also boiling.
Yes.
So we can steam the kpokpoi.
So the kpokpoi, now she has to sieve it here.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's the purpose of the sieving?
To loosen up the cornmeal.
Okay. So it shouldn't be clumpy.
Right. So
it's just like if you're sieving flour, like you're making bread or any kind of pastry.
Right.
You sieve it so I'll lose it.
But this is what we use. We call it shani.
Shani. So Auntie Naa,
Yes.
how did you learn how to make the kpokpoi? Because it's not every Ga woman who knows.
Learn from my mother. From my mother. My mother taught me how to make it.
So how old were you when you started making it? Can you remember?
Teenage.
Teenage.
They make us do it from teenage,
Okay.
early. We always used to look forward to Homowo. On Thursday, my older sisters and brothers who are not in Accra will be coming, so we meet them. So bio. Then, and on the day They send us, we work, cooking, until we are tired. By the end of the day, because they send us to take food to our neighbors, we get money in our pockets. When you take the food to them,
So it's worth it.
it's worth it. They will give you gifts of cakes and money and drinks. By the end of the day, all your anger is gone.
Auntie Naa, so this is Ingmomi, okro.
Okro, yes.
What has okro got to do with kpokpoi?
It's what we use to bind the kpokpoi.
Okay.
So we mix the kpokpoi with the palm oil and okro.
Okay.
Okro, which is seasoned with salt.
Okay.
So then we pound it.
So you have to boil the okro.
You have to boil the okro until it's soft.
Okay. So basically, the slimy nature of the okro is what binds the kpokpoi. Is that that's what you use to mold it?
Yes, and you have to chop it up and then let the water boil before you pour the okro in it, so that it doesn't lose its sliminess.
Okay.
But
so if you put it in cold water, it won't get the sliminess.
No, you won't get the sliminess.
Okay. So you are making a salt solution. Wow. So why are we doing this?
Man, okay, ma wo mi ko ba hwa no.
Ye ba hwa no, bona fe ko ni ke ebe man difference between the ma and kpokpoi and ebe. Okay. Over na no shishi. Ken ke hwa no be na ba be eyin efe ba cover fine. Ni man na ke kpokpoi ebe.
Okay.
No han ka ba. Na gbene sani wo hale mu. Ko ni na taste.
Okay. Okay, so the salt solution she's saying has two purposes. One, it gives taste to the kpokpoi. But secondly, you pass it through the corn, so that when it's cooked, when it's steamed, it sort of does. It creates a separation. It creates a separation. Okay. It creates a separation, so you can see that the kpokpoi is cooked.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. So it's a whole chemical reaction.
Ofana e won ke in nature.
Okay.
Si ba wo bona fe ni ma akabote ni.
Okay. So that the kpokpoi doesn't enter, the corn doesn't enter the water.
Yes.
Okay. Me check it in say ko ni asha kpokpoi na wo be.
Auntie Vida. Okay, now bene son okefite. Okefita sabulai. Okay. So we are seasoning the palm oil. We did it already with the blended onions, and now we've added the shrimp powder, the blended shrimps, the son, to flavor the muchuru palm oil. Auntie, now it's interesting. It's beginning to look like flour because of the onion.
Yes.
I'm saying that it's beginning to look like stew because of the blended onions. The texture looks stewish.
She has to keep stirring so that.
It doesn't burn.
Maybe I only be a fire much left. I'll stable like go some facha.
So the matriarch says we need to add a little more of the palm oil, the mutru, because it looks like the seasoning is more than the palm oil, and that shouldn't be the case. So Auntie Naa is going to look for Papa a fan for the coal
I'm going to
pot.
see if
Can
it's
find
still
it.
there because I gave her one, but she left and I didn't take any stock of what she left. So I'm going to see if it's still there.
Okay. Auntie Vida, what find it? At what point will we know that Mutura is okay? We know that the palm oil is ready. How will we know?
O fine keji otamia woba na ke emi egbi.
Okay.
Ke mi gbi o wa na ke be feel ready.
Okay. So she says that as you're stirring it, you'll see that the spices are cooked. So the onions, the blended onions are in there, the ground shrimps, the shrimp powder. Remember I was saying that it looks like a stew. So when it looks cooked like a stew would look, then you know that it's ready and you take it off the fire. Okay. And then Dede, so how will you know when the kpokpoi is ready?
Ofaneke ingbele na ma ba chake.
Okay.
Yin ba chake.
Okay.
Ni twan kashi ebi. Oba na ko na ma don bone yo afe tomo creamy color ko.
Okay.
Ko na kashi ebi.
Okay, that's ready.
Yes.
Okay. So I was asking Dede as well, how should you know when the kpokpoi is ready? Okay. When it's been steamed and it's ready. We're in a patashi, so it's allowed. Lots of activity going on. So I was asking Dede how she'll know when the kpokpoi is ready. So she says that when she opens it, the color of the corn dough would have changed. So it'll become more creamish, close to yellow, and then you know that it's ready. You can actually tell. And I think we can get an inkling of that from even the paste that's been put around. You realize that it's not as white as it was before. It's gradually becoming more creamy, yellower, and then we'll know that it's ready. So at this point, let's go for a break. When we come back, we'll see how our palm nut soup is doing. I'm sure by then our first bits of kpokpoi will be ready. The palm or the mutru, seasoned mutru will also be done. And then we get a sense of what to do next as our kpokpoi comes together. This is What's Cooking on Citi TV. We'll be right back.
Citi TV is live. On DSTV, go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. Citi TV, it's your world.
Welcome back. You're watching What's Cooking right here on Citi TV. And of course, we're doing a Homowo edition. So we're making some kpokpoi, some palm nut soup, and everything else that goes with the Homowo season. So before we went on the break, we were waiting for our first bits of kpokpoi to be steamed properly. We do it in bits. So, Dede, she says it's ready. The first time she opened it, we saw that it was clumpy, so it looked like banku. But she said if you left it for a while to steam, it would naturally, it would separate and become more like the gari texture that we know kpokpoi to be. So let's open it and see. Okay. Okay. It's ready.
Yes.
Okay. So see, it's grainy, separated. Okay. So what do you do now? Okay. So she's going to transfer into a bowl. And then add some of the seasoned palm oil. And again, the palm oil, the mutru, has been seasoned with blended onions and ground shrimps, song. Sort of like the shrimps we used to make shito, the black pepper sauce. Okay. Okay. Meanwhile, Auntie Vida is adding tomatoes. Okay. Auntie Vida is adding her blended tomatoes to the. Remember, we said in case you just joined us, let me just remind everybody that we pounded the palm nuts. They were cooked, boiled, pounded them to get some sort of palm juice. Added some water to it, put it on fire so that would boil. That's the process that palm nut soup goes through. And then now we're adding the blended tomatoes because our soup has to have tomatoes. Okay. So back to the kpokpoi. So what are we doing now? Okay. Okay. So the okra is coming. Okay. Okay. So we're going to add a bit of the palm oil, the seasoned palm oil, to the kpokpoi that's ready. And then we'll add some okra. Again, if you just joined us, we've learned that you boil okra that's been chopped into pieces. You must boil water before you put those pieces of okra into it. And then you get the slimy nature of okra that we know. We use that to bind the kpokpoi. Everything comes together nicely. So we'll add some of that, some of the okra, some of the seasoned palm oil, and then we'll pound it so that it separates nicely into the gari-like flakes that we all know and love when it comes to kpokpoi. So we've added a bit of the boiled okra. Remember I said we're using that to bind the kpokpoi. So Auntie Vida has prepared the herrings. So these are the herrings. Okay.
kome ka ja ka wo mi e se din e ba plo ka nye wo nu mi oba na no ha mo ko wo nu shin lo e to enye mi black.
Okay.
We wo geo.
Okay. So Auntie Vida says that the reason she's removing the skin from the tuna is that when you cook it in the soup, some of them, they shrivel up and then you see black pieces in the soup. And it's not nice when you dish somebody's soup and they've got black spots in there. So that's the reason she's taking the skin off the tuna. For a bit now, Okay. So again, she's realize the whole pieces of the tuna in there, just like she do with the herrings, so that when it's cooked, you don't have it all broken up and mashed up in the soup. You can actually get good pieces of fish to chew with your kpokpoi. So we're pounding now a second batch of kpokpoi. So we've got the ingmomi in there, that's the okro. Of course, we have the muchuru, that's the seasoned palm oil. And now it's time to put our chile, our big red fish, into the soup. So same process, putting it in whole. Okay, so we're not breaking it into it, putting it in whole pieces, whole chunks, so that when it cooks, it's not mushed up at the bottom.
Showing.
Okay. So we're going to go for a break now. When we come back, we sit at table and we see how kpokpoi is served, eaten and enjoyed in the Ga community during the Homowo season. This is What's Cooking. We'll be right back.
Citi TV is live. On DSTV, go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. Citi TV, it's your world.
Welcome back. This is still What's Cooking on Citi TV, and it's time to eat our kpokpoi and our mewonu, our palm nut soup. Auntie Naa Ofeibea, thank you once again for having us today. You know, I think a lot of people underestimate the work that goes into making kpokpoi, and of course, Auntie Vivian, Auntie Vida, and Dede, and you able cooks. Okay, so I mean the tradition on the show is that whoever cooks the food serves it. So,
Okay.
and you serve.
It serve me. If I
About side.
kpokpoi was side.
Okay.
Kpokpoi aye le pi, aye le fio.
Okay,
Koba.
So the meaning is we dish the kpokpoi at the side of the bowl, then the soup goes the other side, and we don't eat it a lot at a time, bit by bit. And if you want some more, then you go for more.
If I never mean to one machine.
Okay. So the people who like food, kpokpoi is not you.
Oh yes, you can have go 3-4 times.
Those who like to eat kpokpoi.
Yeah, well, quite best I know.
But what's the reason for eating it in smaller portions?
Well, like, if you put a lot of kpokpoi in the bowl, it will absorb all your soup.
Okay.
So you put a little kpokpoi and a lot of soup.
Okay.
And then you go back and get some more soup and some more kpokpoi as you are eating.
Okay. So you don't lose the crunch of the kpokpoi. So yeah, dishing it. Remember, we cooked the fish and the soup in whole pieces. So you put it into another bowl and then you divide it into pieces and then you distribute it. Okay, so Emma,
yes,
we'll talk a little bit about Homowo. Because, I mean, like I said at the beginning of the show, people hear the history of Homowo, maybe they learnt it in social studies class in JHS or in high school somewhere, hooting at hunger. But what does Homowo really mean to the Gans? I mean, and not just historically, but even going forward as our culture. Why is it important? Because after all these years, we're still celebrating it and doing things as traditionally as we did in the beginning.
I think it's mainly about Thanksgiving. Homowo is Thanksgiving that we are here again. That the harvest season is here. So it's more like Thanksgiving for the crops that we planted that have produced the corn and the tomatoes and things for us to enjoy. So it's more like Thanksgiving. And it's also a time when family members come together. So apart from the tradition of it, is the family coming together to sit and eat and chat and jojo, which makes Homowo interesting. I can remember that from my infancy, I'm over 70 years old, and from my infancy, Homowo was always a time to look forward to, although it was a lot of work for us. We didn't like the work. But we like the day, because the day of we dress after we've cooked and worked hard for a week. The preparation takes a week.
A whole week.
A whole week preparation.
Okay, so let's walk through some, because we usually hear about Aduma, and so planted the corn or planted.
What's cooking?
Oh Lord.
Aduma.
Wow.
Is it millet or sorghum that's planted?
It's a kpokpoi party.
Taster General.
Yellow.
Emma, okay. My sisters, this
Hi.
is Taster General. Wherever there's food and wherever there's me, he finds himself there. So he has come. Yes, it's a kpokpoi party. I was saying that.
Oh yes. No, this is not Sisemo. This is Danish Accra visiting Jamestown, British Accra, because it's that season where there are a lot of festivities going around, and it's for the Gans. Yes, so
So you are reminding us that you are from Danish Accra.
yes, Danish Accra.
Okay.
Normally the British Accra celebrates theirs before the Danish Accra.
Of course.
So I have to see what the British Accra has in store for us.
I hope when it gets to Danish Accra, then you invite us.
Oh yes, yes. Even though we are mourning.
Auntie Vida, fine.
Yeah, we've lost our chief, you know that.
Yes, of course.
Yes, there was so much, yes. Yes. But still, hungry tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
So Emma, please, you were talking
what's on the
about,
table? Can you give me something to whet
please
my
feel
appetite?
free, but don't interrupt my conversation with my mother.
Oh, okay.
Emma, please, you You were telling us about your infancy and how. So it takes a week. So we hear about Aduma. We planted, and then the crops and what's not, and then later on we talk about ban on drumming and dancing, all that.
It is when the Aduma is that's the time that there is the ban on drumming.
Okay.
And dancing and noise making. Okay, afangma. Then it's open for partying.
That's when afangna. That's when the harvest takes place. So Aduna is the planting, and afangna is the harvest. Okay. So we talk about Homowo being.
Chile. No, how loda. Anyway.
So the 1 week
So
celebration.
1 week celebration, the preparation. Preparation. In my household, there were twins, so they do the twin festival too.
Okay.
The twin festival is Friday. Friday before.
So the twins, whether your mother or your siblings?
My siblings.
Okay, so you had twin siblings. Lohi.
Nunkeyo.
Okay, so a boy and a girl, twins.
But the boy had passed, so. But the marketing for the corn, they go and look for the corn. They go to the market to look for the corn.
Okay.
Because they have to find the sweet corn, the corn that is sweet and fresh.
Okay.
And then the marketing for the fish.
Okay.
And when I was a child, they brought the fresh fish home and smoked it at home.
So smoked at home. You didn't buy it from the market.
The fresh fish home and smoked at home. My parents come from some fisher folk.
Where are your parents from?
My mother is from Teshi. My father is from Otublo.
Okay.
And they had fishing vessels. So the fish came home and we smoked at home. And then but the rest of the things we bought in the market there.
So the tomatoes
and
the
pepper
palm
and
nuts.
things. And then on the Thursday, my siblings who were outside Accra, because there was a lot of us, they came.
How many were you?
My mother had 6 children, my aunt with her 7 children.
Wow.
And my father with his other children.
So that's at least 13 to 15 children.
Plenty.
Wow.
Plenty.
So they would all come home on the Thursday.
Home on the Thursday. Those who were not who were outside Accra would come home on the Thursday, and the men, in-laws, were supposed to bring firewood for their mother-in-law.
So give the mother-in-law firewood.
Firewood. And sometimes it meant money or fish or something
for the preparation of
the kpokpoi.
Yes.
But my husband was not Ghanaian, so when he heard Shayolai, it means firewood. He would come with a tractor, lie inside, charcoal inside, chicken inside.
He came prepared, literally.
Whatever his friends told him to do, that's what he
would
did.
do.
So on the Thursday, when all the children, my sister's children and so on, everybody comes. My mother and my aunt, everybody was happy. But they were sending us the work we had to do.
What are some of the things that you did?
On the day off, we cooked the palm nuts the day off, not the day before. On the day off, we have to wake up like 3 a.m. Start to be cooking palm nuts, palm fruits, and pounding and washing. We had 3 different pots. One for all fish, and one for lamb.
Okay, the lamb, the mutton. Okay.
Chicken. So we make the 3 different soups. When I was a child, that's what we did.
And they were all prepared separately?
All prepared separately. It wasn't mixed. Because traditionally it was supposed to be just fish.
Fish, okay. Okay, so let's talk about some of the practices that you see with the festival. And today, like I said, we're going the Gamashin way. And when you stay home, in the stories you're telling, we're talking about Kutubabi. That was your mother's house, your parents' house. And you do most of the cooking there.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about the festival itself and some of the things you would see on the streets of Kutubabi, or even just walking through Gamashi. What are some of the festivities that are taking place, things that people are wearing, games that people are playing, songs that we're playing? What are some of the things?
These days I don't see them, but when I was a child, my father's house was on the Nsamam Road, Aveno Junction. So when we stood there, we saw the people who were coming from outside Accra to come and celebrate. We always went there to watch on Thursdays. When they are passing, they are all dressed in the same outfit. I mean, Joaba. Okay, alarm. So beautiful. And they sit on the boot of the car and inside the car, and like you see some people when they are doing their celebrations, they do. Mama is on the floor and all that. The
cloth is sweeping the floor.
And so beautiful. For the festival, we always enjoyed watching those.
And then what about some of because traditionally there's a dance before we sit down to eat. Dance Palogo.
Palogo was when people were celebrating and making music. But I don't remember that it was dancing before we ate.
So what are some of the other things? Were there any specific games, and how did you all fit? I don't know how big your mother's house at Kutubabi was, but did you share rooms? Did you share beds? What was the atmosphere like?
We share rooms, and there were so many people, there wasn't enough room for everybody. So everywhere was occupied with mattresses and things.
Okay. So there were extra mattresses.
But we had metal bunk beds in the house. So the metal bunk beds, if there were 2 in a room, 4 people would be in a room. That's how it was.
Wow.
And then on the Monday, now all the clothes and things that they have made dirty over the weekend, all the children are supposed
the same ones who had to wash.
That was the Wahala day. And my mother would be sitting there with a cane.
You're washing for me.
People would be trying to dodge and so on.
But how did you used to dress when you were growing up?
On Homowo
were you
day,
asked to wear any special colors, or was it just your
Sunday best?
Sunday best. Okay.
Your Sunday best.
Okay.
And was it the kind that you have to visit every home, to see what everybody's doing?
Yeah, son, I go and taste.
We didn't do that. What we normally did was they would dish some food out to us for us to go and give to the neighbors. But the gates were open for anybody passing to come and eat.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing.
A lot of people walk in to come and eat that we don't know.
Yes, because growing up, once it's Homowo, as a student, and I'm
close your gate.
coming from
you have to
Osu,
open your gate.
the relationship I have with almost everybody, I could walk to any home
And eat anything you want.
once
Drink
there's-
anything.
Yes,
Because
eat anything, drink anything.
The traditional food is kpokpoi, but there is fufu, there is whatever to mark the day. So kpokpoi is a very sophisticated food to prepare.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
So if you're not careful in preparing the kpokpoi, people might eat and have problems later. So some to avoid that, because some feel it's best eating the day after.
That's what they say.
Ashimi.
That's what they say. Then it becomes crispy and crunchy.
Yes. You know, I think I'm one of those people.
But the tradition was that you have to eat everything that you make today.
Yes.
And don't leave any.
Yes.
But it's long ago. Now we have to leave some.
Yeah, so even now, on Homowo Day, people prepare fufu. Because the mewunu goes with the fufu.
And all sorts of interesting
because
things.
now it's become more like a,
even rice.
Celebrating.
Yeah, but if you do that, then the people don't eat your kpokpoi.
Yes.
We used to do that,
because they're
but
not
we have
used
stopped.
to it. Not something you eat every day. So, Emma, my next question would be, how have things changed? I mean, because like you said, you're 70 plus, and so you've seen many Homowos.
I've seen plenty.
Many. How have things changed over the years? And and what are some of the key differences, if any of them come to mind?
When I was a child, nobody contributed to Homowo. Your parents took their money out of their pocket and cooked.
Wow.
No contribution.
Wow.
You didn't have to do any contribution.
It's Homowo and
even when you were earning your own money, you still weren't required to contribute. So what has changed is that families all contribute.
Yes, I've been billed already for the.
We all have. So, but which?
And the one,
of course,
yes.
You must. I mean, once you're of age, especially now, I'm married. My sisters are both married, so your husbands are also expected because they'll eat some, so they must contribute. But I mean, when I was younger, I don't remember anyone ever asking me to bring any money. All you knew is that you get there, your kpokpoi is ready for you, and if you couldn't make it,
they said,
like you were saying,
Yes, I think that now that families have overgrown, it makes sense to, because people tend to be concerned about their nuclear families.
Because of urbanization, especially because
guys
are from the city, right?
Now, with the head of family, it's always proper to remind us that this is coming on. There's nothing in the kitty. You have to bring something in the kitty. So what I do is, apart from even contributing officially, I try to come along with my own cutting or drink, and give it to Shiondukpa to serve. And he's not going to take it away. It's for everybody to enjoy. Now, if there is that understanding that Homowo that's when, even when you are at loggerheads with your family member, that day is when you make amends.
Yes.
Because Homowo simply means that we've come from far, we've traveled, and there's been hunger. Now we have celebrating. Food in abundance. So this is a time to make merry and forgive whatever wrong one have done to us. Yes.
Right. Okay.
But I can see that there's black and white. This is
pure
black and white.
Yes, this is pure black and white.
And hello wapi. Hello wapi sweet. Hello wapi sweet.
Wapi alewa.
Mega alewa she wole wapi.
Sugar. Yeah. The one that paints your mouth.
Wapi brown.
Wapi brown. Okay.
Wapi brown. So Emma, to wrap up the conversation, then do you see a future for Homowo? And let's even talk about the bigger Ga culture. A lot of people have said that we are losing our language, we are losing our culture. This concept of Abakumawo, after some time, Akumawo, and we are losing all that we stand for. Do you see a future of, first of all, the Homowo traditions, but then beyond that, will we be able to sustain passing on what the Ga culture stands for?
We will be able to sustain it as long as we continue to celebrate. If we start to talk about the things that people are saying that Homowo is fetish, so they won't go and participate. There's nothing fetish about
I don't know
Homowo.
where that narrative came from.
I don't know where it came from.
That eating kpokpoi is fetish.
Yes.
I think because people confuse what happens in maybe the chief's palace or Because of course some of it is spread and shared for the
so
gods.
what would you say
But
if you go to
you don't do that in a typical home.
I could see that, and it marks something.
Yes.
That's why it's a yam festival. So do you want to say that yam is fetish?
It's fetish.
No. This is corn.
Yes.
It's a corn.
The same corn that we use for
you either eat it fresh,
kinky and all the others.
fresh, or which one?
Fermented.
Mamu, or yes, fermented. You know, yeah. So that is it.
So
Fresh,
how do
fermented,
we?
roasted.
So Emma, how do you believe we can begin to correct that narrative?
I think we continue to talk about it. We continue to discuss it in public and tell people that Homowo is nothing fetish. It's just our celebration, hooting at hunger and celebrating the Ghana New Year.
Because basically the Ghans, we believe that we traveled from far and have come to settle somewhere.
Okay.
Because the following day after Homowo, then we greet Afi. Afi Ayanabani Nawo.
Alonte ding
Akapa
akapa
wote. What's say agbobini what trash nekano? What you gboni, what you gbiena?
You understand that?
Yes.
I don't think
Yeah, so nothing should separate us.
Yes.
The unity of the family, of the people should remain.
Right.
Yeah.
Literally, it means no black cat should come between us, but
Yes.
that's the translation.
I mean, nothing should stop us from being close, closely knitted together as a family. You know, sometimes family, there's the smallest thing, then one takes a bigger heart.
It happens.
Yeah.
But then Homowo brings us together. Then we talk and chat, and then we forget that we had little misunderstandings. That's it.
That's it. So, Taster General, you've also tasted a lot of pickling in your time.
This is just the beginning.
So, how do you rate this one?
This is just the beginning. And as I said, the sweetness is in what? English woman speak.
The sweetness is in what?
It's in the eating.
It's in the eating. So we are eating. And Auntie has done a very good job, made sure that there is chile,
Yes.
there is uda,
Yes, everything is
it's
inside.
mangbin. Yes, mangbin is like a model, slim model. Yes, so it makes a perfect mewonu for the eating of a kpokpoi.
The Gawe.
Thank you. So, Mankpa has done a very good job, together with the anti-fuse.
Antivida and
Yes.
Anti-Naa Dede.
Anti-Naa Dede. Yechuni Ojoba. Shen water, when I watch after party. So it's a great day for the kpokpoi on what's cooking.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Emma, what are done?
She da bet. Ngon na wa akeshi. Ake ni fe mo na ba bi ene. Ngon na akeshi nche ndi ine ni bawa ni wo fe ni eni. Efe bonisa.
Yeah, me man. I don't. I'm not Johnny. Yeah, I feel happy.
Afi aneba na wo.
Ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Black and white
Oh, it's very important.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
hello.
This has been another edition of What's Cooking. It's been a Homowo edition, so we've learned how to make pickle. You see, it's a very intricate, very special, and very ceremonial meal. And I hope that you've learned something today. We also did our palm nut soup, and Auntie Naa Ofeibea, together with Auntie Vida, Auntie Naa Dede, and earlier you saw Auntie Naa Denswa, Ifia, all of them came together, as we do in the Ghana culture, to cook a communal meal that we hope we can pass down from generation to generation for many generations to come. My name is Apiorkor. I'll see you next week.